Tuned in to Bradford. This is BCB 106.6.
Hello, my name is HAIDER and welcome to Movie Madness. Today I have two guests with me. It's Mohsin and Finn.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So, recently we made a short film together and I wanted to take the opportunity in this show to basically discuss how it went and like our difficulties, what we would do different and stuff like that. So what was your guys' experience making a short film for the first time?
Finn, would you want to go first?
It was definitely an eye-opener for me, like, on how difficult it really is, like, thinking up the ideas, doing the ideas, especially doing, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
We did go through some lengths to get the footage. I've definitely got a lot more respect for people who create films, especially on a low budget like we were. How about you, Mohsin?
I mean, I feel as it, like you said, from the pre-production all the way to the end, there's a lot of things that as a filmmaker people don't really realise on the outside, that you have to go through a lot of compromise, especially if you're working with people and, get to a solution. All of three of us had to put ideas forward to come to the right one. So, yeah, that was the main thing I learned, yeah.
And the stuff like when you watch movies now, you see like how hard it was to set up all the cameras and everything. Like we were in the woods and we were all outside. It wasn't a set. So it was really hard. Like we had to look at the sun when the sun was coming down. We didn't have any professional lighting, and it was just like a much harder process.
Yeah, maybe holding the light from the back of us and stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like doing that, having such a less budget, showed us like it gave us so that we wouldn't mess about as much.
Yeah.
So we had like much more concentration into our project because of the budget.
Not to cut you off, but when you mentioned about when you're watching films now, once you've done it, you realise little subtleties that they have. Yeah, the little camera angles that they move from, and like you were saying before, it makes you appreciate a lot more.
Yeah, you stop watching it as a viewer and you watch it more as a filmmaker. You're watching, right, how have they done that shot? Where have they put the camera? What have they used to move it?
Yeah.
Which, it's really interesting, but it kind of takes away a bit of the magic.
It does, yeah. But then it produces one in your head anyway, so yeah.
But it's the same thing where you hear people talk about like this one director and how good he is and stuff. And like the people, I didn't understand why they were saying he was so good until I did it myself.
Yeah.
And then when I seen him, I was like, oh, this is what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like, there was that aspect as well.
Just a question for you guys. What was the hardest bit of it all, would you say?
I would say the hardest part was the logistics of it.
Right.
In terms of the last scene of the film, which, this isn't a spoiler, which is set in the woods near a waterfall, quite far up a river, up a little stream, and getting up there, physically, and to be fair, by the end, mentally,
was definitely.
It was quite draining, especially with all his equipment, all his tripods, his light tripods, his cameras, setting it all up, and it was dark.
It was freezing cold, wasn't it? It was them days as well.
Yeah, it was start of December.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
I feel like some days, wasn't it raining sometimes? Some of the days?
I mean,
I think we got quite lucky with the weather in terms of rain.
Yeah.
I feel like it rained a bit in Bradford, but then by the time we got there, it stopped.
It was in Hipperholm, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was the location we shot.
The other issue, one of the main issues we had at the beginning was setting the fire up.
Oh, God, yeah. That's one of the first shots in the film, and I think again it goes back to when we were saying that people really don't understand how much it actually takes.
Yeah.
Where I remember when we were on that last bit and it was the sunset and it was look, the lighting's not helping us. So I had to run all the way up. Miles up, God knows where, come back down, and we still didn't get it done. And after that, it was it wasn't, for me at least, I can only speak for myself. I wasn't personally oh, why am I doing this? I wasn't necessarily like that. It was okay, now I'm in this, and, I need to get everything planned. We need to get everything right together as a team.
We knew beforehand that there were going to be obstacles, but the things that caught us out were the things we didn't expect. When we were in class, we were just there's going to be a fire in the scene. And then we were alright, what are we doing after that? And then by the time we got there, we were there's a fire in the scene and we have no fire. How are we supposed to get the fire?
Yeah, we've learned a lot of things, I'd say. I mean, for me, again, going back to, it's more of the social thing a bit, where, I mean, us three guys, we've all known each other since September 2017.
Yeah.
And, we've got to know each other, and we know each other quite on a decent level, on a class friends level, but I think that progressed definitely when we put all three of us into a test together. We were thrown into the deep end. I mean, we threw ourselves, to be honest. And
quite literally sometimes.
Yeah, literally as well. And we just had to put I wouldn't necessarily say ego. I don't know if you think that or what you guys think. I just see it as that it was ego and pride a bit, and it's kind of having a let go of what you actually think is right all the time. And through that, I gained a lot more respect for you, and you, of course, had it. And I was like, all right, okay, so this is what it takes. So you need to get to know people. And like you were saying, when you appreciate just the director. I think it goes further for that for me. I respect anyone and everyone that's a part of the crew or anybody's got any say in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the lighting guy and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's what was I saying? We were talking about forgot what I was saying to you.
The hard work.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities for us to just like either because you're saying we know each other so well in it.
Yeah.
And there were like so many opportunities where any one of us could have just said forget this.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing. Basically, the only thing we had to gain was how much we know each other and this project and how much we believed in it. That's the only thing that kept us going and to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
sorry, especially if like one person pulled out, it wouldn't have happened.
Oh, it was literally like a pyramid, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was like a triangle and one base goes and then we're all done.
yeah, like we relied on each other so much. Like if one person went, that was it.
Yeah, we had to make sure all of us were there, otherwise, yeah.
The whole ship would have sunk. But a quick question is, what would you say in comparison now, in hindsight, if you looked at the initial plan and, you know, the initial concept and how we initially thought this is what we're going to do in comparison to how the end product came out and how it was delivered and stuff, what would you guys say? If there was any differences, if there was any similarities, if there were things that you wish you could have done better from a filmmaker's aspect or personal aspect or...
I definitely think that the ground idea of the film was there. Obviously, we knew we were going to do a zombie film. We knew roughly what the idea of the story would be.
That's why we picked that place in it.
Yeah, like the location we had. We knew what we were doing in that sense, but in the same sense, like in terms of the story and like the writing, I definitely think we could have improved on that a lot because I've talked to a lot of people. Like I've talked to some people who like have been in film and television, and they have said that the standout feature is less the story and more the actual technical work.
Yeah.
So I definitely think looking back on it, if we were to ever do a project like this again, we would have to pool more of our efforts and resources into writing the story to have it more engaging. I mean, for us, for our first attempt, I'm not going to say it was terrible. Like for our first attempt, like it was a good job.
Yeah.
From a technical standpoint as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, technically especially, I think that's where most of us shine. Like we're more, like visual creators than we are like written creators.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like but definitely the least the crappiest part of the whole movie was the acting. Like we're not actors, none of us.
I mean, to say that, right? Like that, we're not the best actors, but I think we did quite a good job. I mean, I'm sounding a bit braggadocious on all three of us, but I think we did quite a good job, especially coming from, like we said, we're the more type of behind the lens type of people and behind the screen type of guys, and we're not usually the ones that are in front of the camera and just doing what we had to do. And I think it goes back to just,
But that just shows, like, the only reason that it went so well in that sense is just because of the time.
Yeah.
How much, like, there was constant, like, ticking clock, like, the sun's going down. And we were just like, we just need to finish this. Like, otherwise, we would have just been talking to you, like, I'm not going in front of the camera.
Yeah. I mean, we had to show a lot of cojones if
Yeah.
you had to push yourself forward a bit. And there was times that I was just, I don't know about you guys, I was just looking at this. I was just looking at the recording straight after, and I was like, ugh, what am I like? What am I even doing here? This is like, I couldn't even look at myself afterwards. But I look at you guys and be like, wow, you have done a decent job, especially when we were, not to give too much away, but in the midst of it, where we were in the dark alleyway and you, never mind, I'm not going to go into it too much. That bit, I was like, okay, this is top stuff, because it was a body language, and I believe that was the best part of it. But yeah, then looking at myself, and I was like, but that's just to go ahead and say, if you're a filmmaker and you're just like us and you got a low budget, anybody watching this, don't be discouraged by it. You should go out and
we're
give
all
it a
happy
shot.
we finished doing it.
Yeah.
Like at the end of it, we were like proud of the ending.
Definitely.
And I feel like each one of us are just looking at ourselves, like how you're saying, like I'm looking at myself and saying that, and it's just the same thing with each of us.
Okay, so it's not just me then.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, yeah. At least there's a few that have joined the club.
How long do you think you have left?
What time is it exactly?
We've been talking for almost 10 minutes.
What time is it?
It's 4:50.
I probably got about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. Alright, I'll tell you then, and then we'll pick up the phone.
Okay. But,
so let's talk about, like, I agree with what you were saying, like the base foundation was there, but in the same way, each day you was like, nah, let's add this, and we were like, let's look around and let's use this place as well, and like our idea was even developing every day, like whilst we were on the bus and whilst we were actually there. Yeah. Each day was going even further.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't even think the original ending was that ending. Was it?
Was it?
I can't remember the original ending now.
Do you think, did we not just improvise it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We did improvise a lot.
I think that
A good chunk of it was.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you were saying, Finn. We improvised so much, and I think that showed in the written aspect and the script aspect. I think that's where it showed a lot. I think the acting and stuff, improvisation actually made it better than, because we were kind of putting more pressure on ourselves. But yeah, I think through the written aspect and down that route, definitely the improvisation, it was good, but it had its downfalls in that aspect. Yeah.
Obviously, like now we know, like we were saying, after we finished it, we know we're gonna like write everything down at the start.
Yeah.
Especially the full like base, like start, middle, and end.
Yeah.
But there was advantages to improvising as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like obviously we got the whole thing finished at the end of the day. Like otherwise we wouldn't have if we couldn't improvise it.
I think it showed a lot of mental fortitude from those guys as well in that aspect, because, we got out there and, like we were saying, I know I've said it once before, but I'll say it again, we're not exactly the guys that are right in front of the lens, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're not them people, and a lot of people, I'd say, would get very discouraged by that. They'd be like, no, look, I don't like looking at myself, and we went through literally everything, just to say, for anybody watching, we creatively directed angles, whatever angles you see, whatever word you see spoken, or whatever body language that was expressed, that came from us, and that was the originality, and that's what kind of made me proud of it all, where I was like, we actually did this all on our own. All on our own. I know we did it as a collective.
Nobody told us to do it.
No, that was the other thing.
Yeah, this wasn't a college project, this is just off our own backs. We want to create something that we're proud of.
Yeah.
In that sense, it worked.
Yeah, and I think that makes a difference, because I've had a few people that have viewed it and got back to me, and some people have given some sort of criticism in the aspect of, you could have done this and you could have done that. But then when I tell people the other flip side of it, I'd be like, this was just, the 3 people that are starring in this, whatever you want to call it, the 3 actors in this. We directed. Usually you have your actors, you have your directors, you have whatever, and, we did all them 4 or 5 jobs all on our own. So
all of us were like multi-job people in it.
Yeah, definitely.
There were 3 cameramen, 3 sound guys, 3 light guys, 3 actors.
Yeah.
3 writers.
But overall, 3 writers. But overall, there was 3 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single time it was the same 3 people.
And we didn't ask anybody else for help either.
Exactly. At any point, like anything you see in that film is us 3.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think that's what makes Ensnared. It makes it what it is. I mean, it was kind of like how there's you guys, where HAIDER came up with a concept, and you were the more technical person through software or through, the lens and stuff, the cameras and stuff. And mine was mainly, from my aspect, what I seen, at least, was through you guys. It was like we bounced off each other's energies. To elaborate on that, meaning I was looking at HAIDER, I was like, okay, so he came with this idea, and he wanted this, and it must have based off of somewhere. So I learned that off you, and then off of Finn, I learned slight subtleties like, so this is, the aperture, the settings, and all this stuff, and when we should incorporate manual focus rather than autofocus. And I think myself, what I'd say for myself, at least, I can only speak for myself, of course, but I'd say mine, in my head, my contribution for me was the drive. And I think the best thing was all 3 of us had the drive. It wasn't just me.
I think that there was something, like, remember the argument scene?
Yeah.
But I had to argue with you, and we couldn't even do it. How many takes did we take for that scene? And it was you who was like saying like we need to finish the scene, and it was you as well.
Yeah, it was Finn as well.
It was like that was like one of the hardest scenes, I think, for me.
I think personally for you, but I think as a collective, the hardest scene was one that you went in. And
which one? The running one.
The one just after that. It's at the back end of the story. It's at the back end. Not to give too much away, but it's at the back end of the story.
Yeah.
And it was like HAIDER was literally falling off of the muddy bits, and you were like just holding the light, and it was like you were about to fall off, and then it was like we were running there, and as we were running to get into this, there was just like a pit of mud, and we just kept on falling in it.
Oh yeah. The mud under the cold river.
Yeah.
That river was the worst.
Bearing in mind, it was 0 degrees on that day. I remember looking at the weather when I got home, and it was 0 degrees.
0, that's an understatement. It felt like minus something, to be fair.
And we had to hold the boom poles were like metal, and the tripods and stuff.
It was like an ice blown pot, but it was just holding ice cream or something. It was really bad.
All our fingers were numb that time.
Yeah, bad.
I feel like I forgot how cold it was that time. I was like so happy to get home when they were like proper warm at home.
But it was really funny when I think the funniest bit for me was when the running scene.
Yeah.
When I was literally there for about 15 minutes, just running back and forth. And I was like navigating in my own head. Okay, where did I go last time when I fell into a pit of mud? And it was like, and I still kept on falling into it. But through obviously hard work and
it was crazy.
Dedication, we figured it out. I think we're saying this to the viewers, but it takes a lot more for them to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And you find out for yourself more.
Yeah. It's 55 past.
Is it 55 past?
Yeah.
Right,
So,
okay.
You going then?
Yeah, I'm after wrap this up.
All right. Bye, Mose.
no. Transition it into the song, and like lead him out, if you will. Like, cause
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll take a break so he can leave. We're gonna listen to Travis Scott. Pick up the phone. And we're back. So Mohsen's gone now. So let's start off by talking about. Should we talk about like the spoilers of Ensnared? We can still talk about like we'll talk about our what's it called, the past, our easiest for us,
yeah.
because we were talking about the worst parts. And what do you think one of the easiest parts were?
Easiest part for me personally was thinking about composition of the shots.
Yeah.
Because that's where I creatively. That's where I shine. That's where I really like come out of my shell. And I think because a lot of people have said that like where the film itself shines is the actual like cinematography of it. The where the cameras are placed, how we use them, and that's one of the things I'm proudest of. Plus as well, probably was the easiest for me.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, the whole thing was like kind of the same level. I know the hardest part was the arguments I was telling you about. Because I can't get angry on stuff on like camera.
No, well, I mean, you're not an actor though. None of us are actors. It doesn't make sense. Like for you to just be able to just one take, bash, done. The best actors can't do that.
Yeah. I know, it was just like a surreal experience, isn't it? The whole experience was just weird.
I mean, just seeing you angry was pretty weird.
Yeah. So let's just talk about movies that we want to watch, but we want to watch, but we haven't got the opportunity to watch them yet. That's one of the topics for today's video. That's apart from Ensnared. So what do you think?
Loads and loads of films. Some of the films I do want to watch are to catch up with Avengers Endgame. I want to watch Captain Marvel, which is out today.
To the 8th of March.
8th of March. I got this wrong last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think it's out today. 8th of March. Yeah, out today.
Is it out today?
Yeah.
Alright. Didn't know.
I want to see that. I feel like it's going to be interesting. I think it's got good reviews.
Yeah.
We've already talked about that. Again, I want to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, things like that.
What about like old films?
Old films? Wow, there is a lot.
Have you seen The Shining?
The Shining? No, that is one of the films that I've been meaning to watch for a very long time.
Just need to watch that movie. So like everything, like how you're saying with Ensnared, like your composition and everything, every single shot in that movie is symmetric. Like it's just there's so much time taken to see with every shot in that movie.
No, I've watched parts of it in school, and like just from I think it was the famous scene with the girls.
Yeah.
On the tricycle, and that like in of itself is quite like this. It's got a lot of symmetry. Like I'm looking for symmetry. Like in terms, if we speak in composition,
yeah.
A film that I love was The Great Budapest Hotel.
I've seen parts. I haven't seen that movie.
Wes Anderson, he is incredible.
Is he?
When it comes to his shots and how just the colours, everything, it is incredible.
I've seen once. I've seen in the movie where they say, "I think you murdered her," and then he runs away. That's the only scene I've seen in that movie, and even that scene just all symmetrical and purple as well.
No, exactly. Yeah, he's got the colour scheme down to a T. Everything looks beautiful.
Yeah, I think Wes Anderson is he a pretty new director?
I don't think he's not too new.
I know Stanley Kubrick was from like the 60s, isn't it? 50s.
Yeah.
He's really old, but The Shining is still like how I was saying before, it stands up even today. Like there's so many YouTube videos that are just analysing the hell of that movie, like each scene. Like,
I've not seen the film itself. I've watched some reviews, and the reviews, they do speak for the film, I imagine.
Yeah, but I've seen it's like the feeling in it. Like some people like to tell you, but you just can't get into like you need to be in the mood to watch a movie, innit?
Yeah, innit. Like I've watched. I've just been watching TV shows. I've watched Ricky Gervais's Afterlife.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I binge watched it all today. So it's,
really,
it's still quite raw. It's really good.
I still computing it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to think about it really, but.
What's your initial what's the word?
Initial thoughts.
Your initial thoughts. Yeah.
Initial thoughts. It wasn't as comedy centric as I was imagining it imagining it to be. Like the comedy is definitely a lot more subtle than say like even something like Derek, because I mean even in Derek you have those quite like obvious, you know, those obvious moments like quite out there, but in this it is very like, because that was a mockumentary style, you know, not you're not invested in the characters as like in a different way. Do you get what I mean? I don't think I'm making any sense here.
I haven't even seen Derek though.
I mean, no, it's filmed in the same style as The Office.
Is it?
Yeah.
So documentary style.
Well, yeah, documentary, mockumentary, like not an actual real one, but
Yeah.
like because going straight from that, like, and having quite the blatant comedy, you know, quite obvious, to the sort of subtleties and like the more emotion. Like I'd say there's a lot more emotion.
I think Ricky Gervais is trying to. He's doing comedy, but I think he's going more into dark comedy and like more realism.
I mean, he's all, you know, he has always been into his dark comedy, but I think he's like trying to express himself more, you know, emotionally.
Yeah.
Because like there are some scenes in Afterlife which really do get you going, really do get you thinking about, you know, the story, and it is a great show.
You can tell by the trailer, like it looks just gritty and real, it just looks like you're filming a person.
Yeah, I'd say like I was watching because I've seen the trailer quite a few times, and I noticed most of the trailer, like most of the clips are from episode 1.
That's really good. I love what they did with that.
Exactly. Like it doesn't give you any indication of like
what happens next.
Yeah, roughly how it's gonna go. Like it does surprise you.
Yeah.
Which I think like a lot of trailers do miss, because a lot of trailers, they do have the funniest jokes in the trailer, and then you watch them in the show or in the movie and they're not funny.
I know what you mean, and I love it when they do that, when they just show the first episode in the trailer, because then you realise whilst you're watching the first episode and you're like, I don't know anything that's going to happen next. So it just makes me more excited.
Exactly. It's a lot more interesting.
So yeah. So we need to like wrap up, because there's like a minute left of the show. And then after that we'll play Eden. We'll play Wake Up again from last week. But yeah, so thanks for coming, Finn, today, and
thanks for having me. It's been good.
Yeah, but feels like it's been a short episode today, because well, we did have that Morrison segment as well, innit? But yeah, so we'll play Wake Up and then we'll wrap up. So that was Movie Madness, and my name is HAIDER.
My name is Sedgwick.
And thanks for listening.